Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
Discover Matrilineal Memory by hobby artist Michaela Schaefer, now in view at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This evocative exhibition features paintings, poetry, and installations that explore memory and cultural preservation. Don't miss the Artist Talk with Michaela Schaefer on Saturday, November 15th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the gallery. Matrilineal Memory is open through December 13th. Experience art that transforms memory into connections and healing. Details at allmyrelationsarts.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis A.I.R. A.I.R stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis A.I.R dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis A.I.R on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 31, and then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 54. Time is running out for your chance to see Children's Theater Company's production of Roald Dahl's mischievous tale, The Enormous Crocodile. The show only runs through November 23rd, and tickets are going fast. Get your tickets today at childrenstheater.org.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events. And as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, this episode is presented in partnership with the city of Minneapolis for Minneapolis A.I.R, American Indian Relations, who host a monthly conversation on the second Wednesday of the month regarding happenings and impact of our Native community in Minneapolis. We are grateful for the partnership and to keep up on date of the topics and can better support our larger urban Indian population, and it's the largest one in the country. I'm going to pass things over to Minneapolis A.I.R and our friend Anthony Taylor. Welcome, Anthony. Thank you so much for coming on and doing your thing. Welcome.
Thank you, Robert. It is always a pleasure to be here. Good afternoon, or excuse me, good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Taylor. I am the Community and Cultural Engagement Manager for the City of Minneapolis Neighborhood and Community Relations, filling in for Christine McDonald today. I had an opportunity to actually fill in once before, so it's really an honor to be here. So I want to just say thank you for the partnership and welcome to Minneapolis A.I.R on Native Roots Radio. It is a wonderful day outside. I think what I've always done to tell people, if you can get outside a little bit and enjoy this nice weather, we won't have those many more opportunities, folks. So if you can get outside and enjoy it and take the kids for a walk, I think that's a beautiful thing. But one of the most important things, we have a jam-packed show today. So I want to kind of get into it. Today's topics today is be about community safety, as well as our all-native fire crew with the City of Minneapolis Fire Department. One of the things I think it is a honor for us is to have our city leadership be involved in these cultural media shows, to be able to give a chance to give an update on what's going on. So I have the privilege to have the Office of Community Safety Commissioner Todd Barnette here today to join us. Sir, welcome to Minneapolis A.I.R Native Roots Radio. How you doing, sir?
I am good. Thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you carving out some time in your busy schedule. Would love to just start by telling folks, like, who are you, Commissioner? What's your job? You know, where are you from? Give us a little insight of Commissioner Barnette.
Well, I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I came here in '89 to go to law school at University of Minnesota. Sort of employment background, graduated from law school, worked at the Hennepin County Public Defender's Office for about 13, 14 years, and then went to the Hennepin County Prosecutor's Office for about 2. And then in 2006, became a judge at Hennepin County. And then before taking this role, I was the chief judge in Hennepin County. So that's sort of my path here.
Absolutely. And, you know, time flies by, right? So it's almost been, you know, and you've done so much in your career, especially for the Twin Cities. And you look at our calendar, I mean, it's almost been 2 years, right, since you've become the commissioner, the safety commissioner. And a lot has happened, right? And I think what's important for folks is to know is, like, how have things been going? Like, what are some of the impacts that you feel that you've done for the city of Minneapolis in these 2+ years?
Yeah, you know, I think that a lot of people go, you know, what do you do? A lot of times they go, what do you do? Well, there's 5 departments under me. There is police, fire, 911, emergency management, and neighborhood safety. And, you know, it's an effort by the city back in 2002 to put these community safety departments under one roof. But as you know, community safety doesn't just lie in these 5 departments. And so I say that a lot of times because people will ask me a question and, you know, I'll say, hey, you know, that's something that we partner with our county or state or other departments do. But getting to your question about the impact of what's been going on the last 2 years, really what I've been trying to do and what I've done is to really lay the institutional foundation for the city, not to repeat what happened in 2020. And so a lot of my work coming to the city has been really laying that foundation for us. So when you look at the after action report for 2020, we've completed all of those recommendations. We've done an amazing job working together internally and externally to build a more responsive services for our residents and visitors, being more transparent, accountable, and really have approached community safety with compassion for our residents.
And I think that's important. And I'm glad you kind of referenced 2020. I mean, I think that was a time where our city changed quite a bit, right? And I can just remember, you know, what the city was like, you know, pre-2020 and post-2020. And you're going to talk about it a lot as we go into this interview, but just some of the things that were shaping up in the city was as far as community safety centers and violence prevention. I know you'll kind of get into that as well. But one of the things I really want to kind of touch on is that out of these 5 departments, like you are in charge of the Minneapolis Police Department, right? So we all kind of understand this, and we go back to 2020. Like I said, there's a lot of conversations about reform and defund and all of those type of things. We're not getting into that, but what I would love to talk to you about and have you kind of tell folks is like the progress on rebuilding MPD, knowing how, and reform, right? Knowing how difficult that is in any system, especially in a city like ours, in the times that we were in 2020. So just kind of talk a little bit about what have you saw with the MPD around this time with reforming and rebuilding MPD, Commissioner.
I'll say this. I think we have to acknowledge that from 2020, the community has been, traumatized. Our first responders have, and there's been a lot of healing from that. I think if you look at some measurables in which I think people would understand, and that is that we are really implementing that settlement agreement with the Department of Human Rights, the State Department of Human Rights. We also are committed, and the mayor's committed from his executive order, that even though the federal case was dismissed, we will implement the provisions in the federal consent decree as well. So MPD has really been rebuilding, I think, itself and trying to engage with community members and try to build back that trust. I think some of the tangible things that people might not know or might see is that there's a lot of policy changes around use of force, how MPD engages with minors, our stop, search and arrest policy. That's just the foundation of policy, but now you got to implement it. So you have to train officers on that. And one of the things you have to do is to continue training and learning from the things that we do right, and also learn from things that we're not very successful on. And then how can we get that right for us and right for our officers?
Yeah. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, we're going to be right back, and you're listening to Minneapolis A.I.R on Native Roots Radio.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis A.I.R. A.I.R stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis A.I.R dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis A.I.R on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Discover Matrilineal Memory by hobby artist Michaela Schaefer, now in view at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This evocative exhibition features paintings, poetry, and installations that explore memory and cultural preservation. Don't miss Artist Talk with Michaela Schaefer on Saturday, November 15th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the gallery. Matrilineal Memory is open through December 13th. Experience art that transforms memory into connections and healing. Details at allmyrelationsarts.org.
November is Native American Heritage Month, a time to honor Indigenous history, art, and identity. At the Minneapolis Institute of Art, celebrate the contributions of Indigenous peoples across the Americas with programs and exhibitions that center around cultural resilience and deepen understanding through creative expression. MIA's month-long celebration includes free activities for the family, art making for adults, and a special showing of Smoke Signals, a story of friendship and healing. Celebrate, learn, and connect at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Find full details and ways to participate at artsmia.org.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, this episode is supported by the City of Minneapolis with Minnepolis A.I.R, American Indian Relations. And here is our guest host, Anthony Taylor. Take it away.
Thank you, Robert. And again, welcome back to Minneapolis A.I.R on Native Roots Radio. Talking to Commissioner Barnette, and we had a great conversation. If you missed it, the commissioner talked on a lot of great points. And I think one of the things, Commissioner, when you talked about what I hear is like wanting officers who want to be here helps part of that,
Yes.
that kind of that adjustment, right? To kind of rebuild and reform, like having officers who really take some ownership in being in the city of Minneapolis. And as we kind of transition to the next, I want to just go back a little bit with these reforms, right? Commissioner, have you been seeing any decrease in far as kind of some of the violent crimes that's been happening here in the city?
Yes. The answer, yes. When of course, people want to know about the statistics. So, if you look at our last 3 years or so, although our police force numbers have been, probably 200 less officers than we had prior to 2020, we work hard to reduce crime. And so I would say most of our violent crime numbers are down in homicides, robberies, carjackings, and vehicle thefts as well. So, I mean, we have seen a reduction in gun violence, but I think what it is for me goes back to what I hear from residents and visitors, and that is they're feeling better. We want people to feel safe, and that's important. The numbers are important for a lot of people, but how people are feeling is important as well.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. There's a lot of people who like data, right? Who like the raw
Yep.
data. And there's also people who can actually just feel like the city feeling better, right? And I'm one of those
Right.
feeling people, right? I can feel and I can see it and I can understand it, right? So I'm glad you talked about that. And one of the things I think is important is like this neighborhood safety department, right? It's kind of new, right? So can you just talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I'll say this. It is the department itself is fairly new. The work from the Department of Neighborhood Safety had lied in the health department. And when they created the Office of Community Safety, they brought neighborhood safety under this umbrella. What they do, a lot of what people might see is they really do those community-based response programs. They would be responsible like for our violence interrupters. They're responsible for our Next Step program, which is based out of 3 of our hospitals. And what they do is they immediately go to that bedside of victims of gunshot wounds, of violence, and really try to help those folks with services and help them recover and getting assistance along the way. You might have heard Minneapolis. That's under the Department of Neighborhood Safety, and that holds a lot of those community-based programs that look at prevention, look at responses, and look at what we can do to help people re-engage in community and recover. So if you look at my 5 departments, boy, neighborhood safety for me is the closest one to work with community. You look at fire and police, they respond because they're called, but our neighborhood safety folks, staff are really, man, they're front line with community.
Absolutely, Commissioner. Even the group violence intervention, we talked about the community safety ambassadors, and one of my favorite, and you mentioned, is just the community trauma response group, right? So having folks out in community who look like them, who are from community, that doesn't necessarily need a police response, I think is one of the key kind of programs in this city. You agree with that, Commissioner?
Oh, totally agree with that. People, I explain it this way. The only reason that we're able as a police department to reduce our numbers as far as crime is that we have taken some of that work off of police to make sure that we have the right response, like our behavioral crisis unit. that used to be under neighborhood safety but's moved to fire, they respond to those mental health calls, right? That are not violent nature calls, but someone's having a mental health crisis or a loved one and someone's called for help. So that's getting that right response out there. You mentioned the safety ambassadors was one of our new pilot programs. Man, I'm so excited about that being on Lake Street, and trying to just help people and connect people with services. That is being visible and trying to have that prevention before police are called, before police have to get involved.
Yeah, that's so important. And Commissioner, we can speak another hour about how I feel about that and how important that is in the community. But we don't have much time, so I'm going to move on because it's more than just MPD, right? It's more than that. So I want to kind of dig into that because the fire department as well does a lot of things in our community, not just fighting fires, so to speak. And to be honest, you're losing one of the OGs of the OGs here coming up soon. So, I don't want to dig the knife in the wound too deep, but just talk a little bit more about the fire department, Commissioner.
Oh wow, man, you're right on. I got here and I'm thinking like a lot of people, the fire department responds to fires. But actually, the way they're essentially located around the city, they respond first to a lot of medical calls. And we've seen that go up. But one of the things that people should be excited about is that all of our firefighters are EMTs, emergency medical technicians. That's why they respond. But we started these 2 safe stations that has gotten some press, but not talked enough about. Our fire stations are open 24/7. What a safe station is where people who are struggling with substance use can go there, and our firefighters will greet them and connect them with a peer recovery coach from Twin Cities Recovery Project. I'm excited about that. That's where fire does more than fire. You want to break my heart by bringing up Chief Tyner is leaving. He served 30 years on the fire department. He is a person who grew up in Minneapolis, came to the fire department, and has just really risen up the ranks. One of his last things that he wants to do is to honor Ron Edwards, who most people might know him from KMOJ. Ron Edwards back in the 70s was instrumental in getting our fire department desegregated and back in the 70s. And so we want to honor him at Fire Station 1 with a plaque. And so, Chief Tyner has been instrumental in diversifying our police department. I will say, Mr. Taylor, we need more women, though. We need more women in our fire department. And so if there are folks out there who are listening, we will train them to do the work of a firefighter. You don't have to be super strong. We will get you there.
Yeah, and thank you, that Commissioner. Chief Tyner was definitely a friend of the city. He's definitely, I think, one of the people who always answered the bell, and not just fires and emergencies. Like Chief Tyner did anything he could do for the city of Minneapolis and his community, and I just wanted to honor him with that, and Ron Edwards as well. So I'm glad you were able to speak to those 2 individuals, sir.
And Mr. Taylor, he's not leaving the city. He's actually going to Phyllis Wheatley. So, I mean, he's leaving the fire department, but he's going to Phyllis Wheatley, still contributing to community.
Yeah, and we don't expect anything else from Chief Tyner, which is super interesting, right? If you know him, right? And as we kind of move forward a little bit, Commissioner, I'd love to talk a little bit about Minneapolis Emergency Communication Center and how that's kind of changed over the last few years and how there's been some innovation and everything. So maybe we can kind of touch on that a little bit and then kind of come back to it as we kind of finish up this segment. Does that sound good to you, Commissioner?
That sounds good. Sounds great. The 911 service has just been phenomenal, and I'm willing to talk about that more if we need to go to break.
Go ahead, Robert.
We still got a minute left if you want to just touch on that.
And one of the biggest things I'll just say real quickly is that we have an embedded social worker in 911 from Hennepin County. And so this shows, again, what we're trying to do with making sure that we are getting folks connected with services. And that's just something that I'm so proud of, that we have that partnership with Hennepin County and trying to get citizens to service. So every call to 911 is not an emergency, but we're trying to connect people with services where it's a non-emergency.
Good.
So,
Robert, I'll let you take us out.
Hey, we still got a minute left. This is really interesting, and I can't wait to hear from Michael Graves coming up here. And do we want to bring Michael on the next segment too?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be great. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we are so excited. We'll be right back, and you're listening to Minneapolis A.I.R on Native Roots Radio. Oh, wow.
November is Native American Heritage Month, a time to honor Indigenous history, art, and identity. At the Minneapolis Institute of Art, celebrate the contributions of Indigenous peoples across the Americas with programs and exhibitions that center around cultural resilience and deepen understanding through creative expression. MIA's month-long celebration includes free activities for the family, art making for adults, and a special showing of Smoke Signals, a story of friendship and healing. Celebrate, learn, and connect at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Find full details and ways to participate at artsmia.org.
Discover Matrilineal Memory by hobby artist Michaela Schaefer, now in view at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This evocative exhibition features paintings, poetry, and installations that explore memory and cultural preservation. Don't miss Artist Talk with Michaela Schaefer on Saturday, November 15th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the gallery. Matrilineal Memory is open through December 13th. Experience art that transforms memory into connections and healing. Details at allmyrelationsarts.org.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota private colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
We've all seen the effects of wood smoke pollution this year, so before hosting that backyard bonfire, follow these simple tips to protect yourself, others, and the environment. Remember to give your neighbors a heads up before building a fire so those who find wood smoke bothersome can close their windows. Make sure to never burn wet or recently cut wood, other yard waste, plastic, or garbage. These things can be toxic when burned and create excess smoke. For more tips on how to burn responsibly, visit epa.gov/burnwise.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat is a joy we experience every day, and knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity and styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
Do you know that from birth to age 3, simple activities like talking, playing, reading, storytelling, and singing can boost your child's development? Little Moments Count provides parents and caregivers with the resources they need to make the most of your time together. Visit littlemomentscount.org for resources designed to support you in giving your child the best start in life. Again, please visit littlemomentscount.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 31, and then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 54. Heat up these cold nights with the hottest musical acts around at Crooner's Supper Club. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. Visit croonersmn.com to view their schedules and food menus.
AM 950 KTN up, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, this episode is supported by the city of Minneapolis with Minnepolis A.I.R, American Indian Relations. And here's our guest host, Anthony Taylor. Hoa.
Thank you, Robert, and welcome back to Minneapolis A.I.R on Native Roots Radio. I am Anthony Taylor, filling in for Christine McDonald today. I had a great conversation with Commissioner Barnette from the city of Minneapolis, and also have an honor, right, to bring in Captain Michael Graves and his all proud Native American fire crew with the city of Minneapolis. How are you folks doing today? And welcome to Minneapolis A.I.R.
Bonjour, yes, we're here. We're great, glad to be here. We have 3 of the 4 of us. One of us couldn't be here. He's with his grandson this evening. But Michael Graves, Captain Michael Graves, to my right is
firefighter Johnny Crow.
And I'm firefighter Bobby Hedberg.
Yes.
Welcome to all of you. So let's start with this. What's the inspiration, right, to become a firefighter, right? And there's a favorite part of your job. Like, give us some insight to what's going on with the fire department.
So I know for me, you know, everyone as a kid, I want to be a firefighter. I think that was every young boy's dream. But later on in life, it didn't actually say that, oh, I could be a firefighter. I had a brother and uncle on, and we're from the Minneaplois clan of Anishinaabe at Red Lake. And that's what gravitated me towards being a firefighter, to help protect the people, because in the Minneaplois clan, we are the protectors of the people.
Yeah, for me, what inspired me to be a firefighter was actually never met my intentions in the beginning. I came back here after college, and I went to help give back to the community, because my family relied on a lot of resources that the city of Minneapolis had. So I actually got recruited by David Carson. He told me that I could serve the city by being an EMT firefighter, and that's the way I could give back to the community. So that really inspired me, and yeah, I took that opportunity, and here I am.
So my inspiration comes from helping the community, being on the community, helping them in any way that possible through fires and medicals, and then just being a positive role model in the community for other people that are in it. So.
And what tribes do you represent?
I am Red Lake Ojibwe, and our driver, Jesse Strong, who is not here, is Boise Fort Ojibwe.
I'm Oglala Lakota from the Oglala Sioux tribe.
And I'm from the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe.
So how did this happen? How did we get an all native crew, right? Was it the roll of the dice? Did the lottery happen? Like explain it.
I guess you could say a little bit of everything. The stars aligned and everything kind of worked out. Throughout the years, and I've been on for 13 years, there's been many, I would say in the 20s of natives on throughout my career. Now some have retired. This is the first time that it's happened that all 4 positions on one rig are all native, whether it's because of the time people came on. So I had got promoted to captain a couple of years ago, and Johnny had picked my extra spot because he just knew me and kind of liked how I worked and wanted to work with someone he related to. And Bobby then picked the extra spot when Johnny got the permanent spot. And then we're kind of realized, like, oh, we can have an all-native rig. We just needed to find a driver. Well, we needed to find a driver that wanted to be busy, because we're at one of the busiest stations in the city. And actually now we're at the busiest station in the city, which is Station 6, over by the convention center. And that's when Jesse Strong came about. And it took us about a year to get him to get on the rig, just with having people and personnel and where they work. So it's kind of an interesting story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait to dig into that more, because I think when we talk about community safety, fire, it all relates. So what I want to do is dig more into your story. I do want to, Commissioner, get you out of here with this quick question. If you can just answer this, so I can dig more into our Native American firefighters. But just quickly, Commissioner, if I would ask you, like, what would be your hopes and dreams for the city of Minneapolis? What would you say to that?
Oh man, my hopes and dreams for the city of Minneapolis is that folks who visit here, folks who live here, and we talked about it earlier, just feeling the change, just feeling safe. We have so many folks in the city that really care about the city and care about the people that live here. And I really would hope that our residents feel that and our visitors feel that as well.
Good. Thank you, Commissioner. I know you're busy.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Minneapolis A.I.R today. It was an honor.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. You're in good hands.
See you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Commissioner. So, Michael, and your team, just to get back to you, like, there's got to be a lot of pride within your community, right? Being an all Native American fire crew. Like, how has your community kind of responded to you all?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of pride. I know the four of us are prideful every day. We try to get over to the Franklin area, which is where we're actually at right now doing this interview, is where one of us is working at Station 7, which is on Franklin in Little Earth area. So we try to get over here and make sure kids get to see us, the community gets to see us. We've gone on runs, and they're like, oh, they sent the all Native crew, when it's been a Native organization. And that has made me smile, and my heart just really warmed when you hear people, like, just the way they respond to us going there and seeing people who look like them helping them. Yes.
I would say, yeah, to add to what Mike said, it feels great to go into these spaces, into these like we went to the Minnesota Indian Women Resource Center, and as a kid I grew up in that, going to that daycare, and my family has stayed there in their housing, and then you have the Minneapolis American Indian Center, and I've worked there, I've gone there as a kid, I went to their after school program, so it gives me a lot of pride to be in those spaces as an adult, and to be in this position that I am and giving back to the community. And it feels great to have the next generation recognize that, and they can kind of see themselves doing things that they didn't think were possible before.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah, I think going to the community events and being out in the community shows a lot of pride that they have in us, and that also that we have in them as well. But I know some days are tougher than others, and I know we went to a ceremony one day, and that really helped me. So that was something that really opened my eyes up to why the community's there for us as well as us for them.
Yeah. Do y'all feel like superheroes sometimes, right? Is that a feeling sometimes? I mean, come on, talk to me.
Not me personally, no. Like I said, I think in my DNA is to help protect, and that's just what I know, and that's I don't feel any different, I don't. We joke in the fire service about a hero complex. I don't think any of us have that. We just know we're here to help the community. And I will say, 1 second, I just lost my train of thought on it. We'll come back to it, as I can't remember at the moment. So,
yeah, I just know I looked up to people with uniforms in my community, right? And especially when they look like me. It was such a privilege to see folks who look like me show up, and when I was where I was from, they would hand out baseball cards, and this is way back in the day.
So
right?
I remember now, because you just mentioned the community. Yes, and I remember growing up. So I grew up in North Minneapolis. Johnny and Jesse, South Minneapolis, and Bobby was kind of north side a little bit as well. And yes, the cops did. We used to get baseball cards from the cops when we were kids, and then that was actually something to, when we were kids, we used to run up to the cop cars. I remember. But what I was gonna say was, the four of us have ties to Minneapolis. We grew up in Minneapolis, and we've gone to events in Minneapolis, gone to school in Minneapolis. So it's bigger than just us coming into Minneapolis and serving. We've actually have long ties of our lifelong ties here, as well as our reservations. But unfortunately, the four of us didn't grow up on the reservations. We grew up down here in the cities.
Okay. You guys want to add anything to that?
No, that's fine.
Oh, just about this. Yeah, I was going to say, for me, I think what's unique is our connection to the city. I think it's not just, I would say it even goes beyond just the four of us. I notice when people are from the community that they serve, they really care. And it's just it's something special about that, about caring about where you're serving and the people that you're serving.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would imagine you can maybe share too, just about how much your heritage plays into that. How much is it, honoring the ancestors as well? Can you kind of just get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is honoring ancestors. I know, for instance, just a quick story. My grandfather served in the Korean War, and I know Johnny has family that did as well in wars, and they went because that was a way for them to still honor their ancestors and become a service member and protect their land. Well, this is our way of doing that. None of the three of us did join the service. Jesse Strong was in the service. He's our driver. He's not here today again. But this is our way to give back and be warriors of past, right? The warrior is there's a different version of the warrior as far as Native warrior now in today's age. And this is for one way for us to do it.
Yeah, I like to add to what Mike said. Being Lakota, serving others and providing and protecting others is how is like the warrior way of life. And to do this, to be an EMT firefighter in the community and give back to the people is one way we can do this today. And it does bring a lot of pride and honor to my relatives that came before me. So I'm continuing that tradition of serving others.
Yeah, I think protecting is the biggest aspect, like helping protect people every day, their homes as well. And then also our ceremonies that are involved with it too, the smudging and putting out tobacco, praying to Creator, all that, plays a factor in healing for us as well.
Yeah, and thank you for enlightening us. One of the things too, I would imagine just the values and your traditions helps relate to folks in the community, right? Like you almost have a sense of bond, right? I would assume when it comes to knowing exactly your community, the needs, and tradition. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Maybe if we get a chance to kind of come back to that, like how important that is, right, to you. So maybe when we get back, we can kind of dig into that a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. When we get back from this break, we'll definitely talk about that. That's a very interesting topic to discuss.
Right on. Hey, we'll be right back. You're listening to Minneapolis A.I.R on Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back. Ho-ah.
November is Native American Heritage Month, a time to honor Indigenous history, art, and identity. At the Minneapolis Institute of Art, celebrate the contributions of Indigenous peoples across the Americas with programs and exhibitions that center around cultural resilience and deepen understanding through creative expression. MIA's month-long celebration includes free activities for the family, art making for adults, and a special showing of Smoke Signals, a story of friendship and healing. Celebrate, learn, and connect at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Find full details and ways to participate at artsmia.org.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis A.I.R. A.I.R stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis A.I.R dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis A.I.R on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, this episode is supported by the city of Minneapolis, and this is Minnepolis A.I.R, American Indian Relations, and here's our guest host, Anthony Taylor. Anthony.
Thank you, Robert. Again, my name's Anthony Taylor, filling in for Christine McDonald today, talking with our all Native American fire crew from the Minneapolis Fire Department, Captain Michael Graves and his team. And as we left the break, you guys, we were talking about just the cultural values and traditions, right? And how it influences your way as you approach working with your community as firefighters. Talk a little bit how much that means to you all.
It means a lot. I know, as I said before, it's in my DNA to protect and serve the community. And I've had my older brother was on, my uncle was on, and seeing that, and then knowing that we're out here helping, and everyone in the community sees us. They recognize us now. I mean, we've told this story several times now, and we get smiles and laughs and people teasing us because they see us all the time and hear about us. And I was just out of town, and I've had natives across the native country saying, "Yeah, I seen your story," and from Montana, from Dakotas, from on the East Coast. So to me, it's a big thing. It's bigger than us, and I'm glad that it's getting out and it's getting told. So, anything?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you say the question again?
Just how important is your cultural values and your traditions kind of just influences the way you approach your work as a firefighter?
Oh, I'd say it's a huge part of how we approach the work. I mean, we all come from tribes that have like warrior mentalities, warrior societies, and part of that is compassion and bravery. And we get to do that as a job. We found a place in the world where we can share those values, still have those today, and still continue that way of life, giving back to the community and showing our bravery and showing compassion on these calls. Because that's kind of what firefighter EMT is. It's the bravery of going into fires, and then the compassion that we have for the people that need help, and we show up on their worst day. So we get to show those values. And I think it's special with our crew is because we have shared beliefs and values, and we have the same kind of firsthand experience of being Native American in this city together. So there's a lot of things that we don't have to say because we have that shared experience.
Yeah, I think the bond with firefighting and our traditions go hand in hand almost, just because you are exposed to certain traumas, but then you're also able to heal from those traumas as well with our ways, praying, tobacco, smudging, everything like that. And then even the whole just the protecting aspect, like we're modern day warriors. It feels like.
Yeah, and you said it, and it's a great point. You talk about compassion, right? Because like you said, you're seeing people on some of the worst days they've had it in their lives, right? So being able to have that compassion, I think, is a beautiful thing, especially when people who look like you understand you and see you. I mean, that's a difficult space to be in, and it's a hard space. So I think compassion is definitely the key. And as we sit here and push up on the clock here, just want to ask you guys, like, was it hard to become firefighters?
Yeah. So for me, it definitely was. I went through the civil service list years ago and waited on that list for 7 years.
Wow.
It was back, and we're in that time now where it was how it was 7 years ago, where we have budget issues and money needed money. So at that time, they had a hiring freeze. So they extended the list and extended the list and extended the list. 7 years later, after my long wait, I get to go through the grueling process of rookie school, which is it's fun. I loved it because you're doing what you love every day. So you're going into the burn building, you're learning how to be a firefighter every single day. When we're at the station, we don't get to do that stuff every day. You know, we hope people don't have fires because that's your homes and your belongings getting destroyed, right? Although yes, we do love it and we will help you do it, but we don't want you to because that's destroying something for somebody, right? So and we're glad we don't have them every day. And in rookie school for 4 months, you're going to learn how to be a firefighter, and you basically getting college courses thrown at you. And for some people that is tough because you're not a good learner. You're not a quick reader. For me, I'm not a quick reader. EMT was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And that's 80% of our job is EMT stuff. So I had to buckle down and figure it out, get through it, and it works. But nowadays we have multiple ways of getting on. So you have civil service, but now it's no longer a testing option. It's a application, which you get points. So you get points for being a Minneapolis resident. You get points for having college classes, education, any type of certificate you can put on it, you're going to get points. That's one route. The other route is through Pathways, which is a EMT internship through Minneapolis that you get a paid internship to learn how to be an EMT in the hopes of if you do well that you get kind of put in through emerged with the civil service. 40% of any rookie class has to come from Pathways, which I believe both of you.
No, just Bobby
actually came on through Pathways. The rest of us are civil service, and Jesse Strong did get his veteran preferential points at that time. So it can be a quick process of just a year, or it can be the 7-year wait like I have. But actually going through rookie school and things like that, it's as tough as you want to make it because the schooling is the hard part. And those that aren't physically, like you can get through it, as Commissioner was talking about earlier, we'll help you get through it. If anyone that wants to do it is out here listening, anyone can do it. Get your leg strength up, and then it'll help you out in any type of strength exercises we have to do.
Yeah, and I thank you guys for. Go ahead.
I got a couple questions. You don't mind?
Go right ahead.
Absolutely.
Hey, what clan are you guys in? Can you tell me which clan you're in?
Yep. So I'm Minneaplois, and
I'm Bear Clan as well.
Okay, cool. And are you guys able to keep your hair long? Is there?
Yes. So out of the 4 of us, I have the long hair now. It's up in a bun now. The 2 of them had long hair like me as well. They had events in life that they wanted to cut them for, and our driver had long hair when he was younger. He went in the service and he's had his hair short since because it's kind of thinned out on him, you know.
I do know.
But yes, we are able to have long hair. There years ago, there was a firefighter who actually was on, and they were trying to tell him to cut his hair. And you're gonna forgive me. I think these tones are gonna get pretty loud on this radio here, really quick.
I got a call here at the station.
So hopefully you can still hear me if I'm talking. You're able to hear me. All right. So yeah, they were trying to have him cut his hair, and then he ended up allowing us to be able to have him.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thompson, so we appreciate it.
That's amazing, and we only got a minute left, Anthony. And I just wanted to ask too. What do you guys do? Are you able to smudge off in prayer while you're on duty? And
yes, I mean we. It's just like if anyone was to want to go pray, like it's the same thing for us. We're able to do what we would like as well. That's Captain Nemus that just went by. He was one of my learning captains when I was younger on the job. So, but yes, we're able to do that if we wish. I have not seen any blatant discrimination of any sorts as far as our spirituality and or just being Native.
So this is just a weird question. I used to be a high school teacher. We only got a minute left, but are you able to have a feather or anything on you when your uniform, or is that something?
I mean, you can if you want. I don't actually do it. Most of the time, my earrings are out when I'm actually working on runs. I'm just in uniform because we're on here and we're representing Minneapolis right now. So a lot of my stuff is out because I don't want to lose it.
Wow. Hey, Anthony, let's wrap it up. This has been a great show. I really appreciate you and the firemen showing up to this.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you guys are busy. Anything could happen on a dime. So really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me guest host here. And I had a blast.
Yeah, thank you for hosting for Christine. I was hoping for Christine. I haven't seen her for a little while. Glad that you're able to step in for her,
Yeah.
Well, hey, guys. I gotta have you on my show again later. Hey, great listening to you guys. Keep up the great work, and
thank you.
We are all proud of you in the community. Ho!
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio.